Hey everybody, it's Steve with Short Shift Garage. Hey, welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you all for, seriously, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for all the views and the subscribes and shares and comments. I mean, they're great. Wonderful. Thank you so much. It gives me a lot of good feedback. So today's subject is going to be what options do we have out there for tuning our cars? And I'm not going to say alternatives because that's kind of the wrong term, and you'll understand as I start explaining. But there are options. Okay, HP tuners is one of them, obviously. But let's go out and explore some of the other ones that are available. I'm going to start with Diablo Sport products. They're owned by Holley, by the way. I don't know how they do that stuff, but they anyway. Holley is their corporate side. I guess it's the best way to say it. So let's jump over to our desktop real quick, and we'll look at what Holley/Diablo Sports can offer you. Now you can go to Holley and access this website, or you can go right to www.diablosport.com. I happen to be on the PCM tuner combo kits because it's a little easier to get an idea for the cost. You can see that it's going to run you anywhere from, depending on which Dodge you have, in the correct kit, it's going to be between, say, minimum of, $15.99 up to $15.95 up to $24.95, and that gets you everything you need. If you have up till 2014, you don't need an unlocked PCM. Now, Holley, Diablo Sport, you want to make sure that you enter your year, make, model, engine as such in this here, because it'll isolate it down to exactly what you're going to do. I'm not going to do it because it would only bring up mine, and you can do that, I'm sure, on your own. But that'll get you into the right track, and basically, it's the Intune or the Trinity. And, of course, this is the Trinity and this is the Intune. A quick note, we talked previously about, in another video, about canned tunes. And one of the things you get with these guys is canned tunes. You can download them and put them on here, and you can upload your tunes. So, the important thing to remember is that if you buy it because you want a 91 octane tune, great. That's absolutely wonderful. Go ahead and get that for your 20 up to 2014 model year Challenger, Charger, and install it. But understand that if you can't get 91 octane, you're going to experience difficulties with the way the car drives. It's gonna probably hit the knock sensor. You're gonna store some long-term knock retard. So be careful with that. If you have 93, then put the 93 in there. Okay, but if you live in an area where you, like the entire state of Nevada and California, I don't think you can get over 91 octane. I can't get E85 unless I buy it, like in a 5-gallon jug or a 55-gallon drum. But I can get specialty fuels if that's what you're running. Then that's great. But if you run out and you do your 2014, put that 91 tune in there. Make sure you take it out if you have to change fuels. Because it will cause you problems, and you'll store codes and all sorts of weird things. But it is a good tune. Okay. Now, if you have a 2015 and up, and I am not able to verify the 2015, but I was able to verify 2017 and up on the 5.7 and 6.4, then you're pretty safe loading the 91 octane tune because it's already tuned for 91 octane. Yeah, so you're and it's optimized. Okay, you know that on the from previous conversations we've had, this 6.4 is just super tight tuned. The 5.7's got a little tiny bit of room in it, and then it's tiny. So anything you get in a 91 octane tune from Diablo is not going to change anything because we have high octane tuning tables. Now they may do a little trick stuff with your throttle response and things like that just to make it feel better, but that's not, in my opinion, it's not really tuning unless of course you're trying to accomplish something specific, like a specific you're out to the track and you're trying to get your 60 foot better, then yeah, you're going to want to change your throttle response and things like that. But on the street, the throttle response is the best way to get throttle response changes, and it's actually transmission, not throttle, is just sport mode. So that tells the story. Now, on a 2017 and up, the 93 octane tune does work, and it works pretty good. But you got to have 93 octane. So if you have no problem getting 93 octane, then go ahead and put the tune in. But if you can't find it, make sure you take that 93 tune out of it before you put 91 in it. Otherwise, you're going to have problems. Because what they're going to do is, well, actually in a 2017 and on up, you probably wouldn't have problems, but you will have noticeably lower performance because it will take you out of the high octane timing table and put you back into the base timing table. Once you get long-term NOx stored, you're in base timing until you, get in there and clear that out of there. And of course, that's resetting adapters and things like that. But so anyway, those are the warnings about. And the good sides and the bad sides about the Diablo tuner. Now, the downside to the Diablo tuner, they switched over to a new system called PowerCal. This is the old CMR. CMR was their prior system they had. They had Data Viewer and CMR, and you used to be able to get Data Viewer no problem at all. I think you can still download Data Viewer. Just to see, just to look at your data logs. And you can do data logging on the Intune and the with the Trinity. So, but PowerCal is their new system, and the only way you can get any information on it, other than what's here on this web page, is by joining their PowerCal team. Now, I did submit an application to them about an hour and a half ago, and I was expecting an email back, but I haven't seen anything yet. So I don't have any more information for you at this time on that. But PowerCal is a separate software. It's only available to PowerCal team members. And there was many, when I was logging in, there was many references to dealer stuff. Actually, I didn't log in. I just put in an inquiry, and there was references to dealer and stuff like that. And so they wanted to know what my business was. And so I don't know that a end user can actually get it. The understanding that I have is that you can't, and that you have to hire a tuner to do your tuning for you. So, and that works pretty well. There's a couple of good tuners out there. Hemi Fever, Jay Green, they're out there. And Hemi Fever has been around a long time, does great tuning. There are some things that Diablo doesn't do, at least in the old CMR software. I have not seen the PowerCal software. I have worked with CMR before, and there were some things it couldn't do. I've heard some of those have been those restrictions have been eliminated. But for the most part, it's going to cost you probably between, I don't know, on the low side, the very low side, $500 for an email tune. And that's a real hungry person. If you wanted to take it into dyno, of course, you're going to pay dyno time plus the tune time. So it's easily could be in the $1,500 range without too much trouble at all if you go that route. You will, if you want to look at your data logs, you're going to have a notebook or laptop computer. I prefer a laptop. And while we're on the subject of laptop, any laptop should work. The key on it is whether or not it's got an SSD drive. Otherwise, it gets frustrating. I took a older HP Pavilion laptop with a right nice 21-inch screen, and I pulled the hard drive out of it and put an SSD drive in it, and it happens to have an i7 processor in it, which is pretty nice. It's just got lucky and found one on Marketplace. Paid $250 for it. Cost me about another $210-15 by the time I get everything else done to it. But it's a great tuning platform. A little heavy, but it's the battery only lasts like 2 hours, but it works. So there's all in all, I think I'm into my my laptop about about $450. So that's a cost on top of that, of everything else. If you just want to, and you do definitely want to get the data viewer so that you can verify that your data that you're sending to your tuner is actually good data. And I was able to, when I had Jay Green do a 2012 Challenger for me before I got into tuning too much myself. And I was able to, hey, dude, you got some big old knock going on, and tell him exactly where it was in the log. He said, oh man, glad you mentioned it. I didn't see that. And so, we were able to correct it. So you work together with your tuner, and as long as you maintain a good relationship with them, treat them with respect, that's the key, then you should have no problems going with an outside tuner. I'm not personally a fan of email tuning. I think I've expressed that a number of times. I don't do it. I don't think I give my customers everything that they deserve when I do an email to them. So that's my thoughts on it. With the Diablo, you're either going to have to find a local tuner that uses it, or you're going to be doing email tunes. So, okay, that's Diablo in a nutshell. You can be into the system for about, I would say, all in $3,000. Okay, plus your time. Now let's look over at another one, and this is a new and upcoming. Actually, let's go over and look at the Holley Terminator. Okay, so Holley Terminators are standalone ECUs. These are used very commonly now. Everybody seems to be on them when they're doing swaps. A 5.7 Hemi into an older system. It's not if you're going to say you want to swap a 6.4 into a 5.7. You just use your normal hardware that you've got. You might update your PCM or something like that, but you can usually not have to go out and buy a Terminator box. But if you were putting a 5.7 or a 6.4 or a 6.2 Hemi in a retro car, say you want to put it in a 69 Roadrunner, which I'd love to do, then yeah, this is the way to go. And you get your software and everything else. it is a different tuning platform, so you'll have to learn that. And the price is going to be varying by what you do. Here's a Gen 3 Hemi kit, and we're looking at 1800 bucks for the system, and of course it comes with your box of tunes and all sorts of stuff. But it'll get your car up and running. It's not going to run everything inside, but you can get your digital dash. By the time you get done, you're for $3,000-4,000 for this unit here. But it's still a viable method of dealing with the Terminator X Holley EFI, which you're probably going to want to run instead of the stock 5764 fuel injection system. So that's an alternative, but it's a different breed from what we're doing. So the next one we're going to go look at is this product that's got me really, really interested. So this is called BitBox. Now this is you pay for it in euros, so it's not in the U.S. There's a list of cars it supports. It does support our Gen 3 Hemis, and it does have a scanning software. So this is the scanning software it uses. It's pretty in-depth, and I actually got an opportunity to play with this a little bit, and I liked it. I really did. It can do some stuff that HP tuners cannot do. But again, it's euro, it's European dollars. It is not free, but it is open source. So if we go to the price, the bit edit price is $200. Let's see, do they have? I guess you'd have to scroll down, and it's not the easiest to look at, but you can see it can do a lot of vehicles, and it can do our Dodges. So, but it's a scanner, and it's a really kind of a neat scanner. I like it. So let's see what it says right here. Okay. Okay, it'll do the Continental GPEC and the GPEC 2A. This happens to be mine right here. I recognize that serial number, so I know it will do mine, and it'll do the normal GPEC. So it's telling me that they're not looking at the NGCs. So 2009 and before, no, but 2010 and up with the GPEC, which is actually a GPEC 2. You probably can use it on that up to 2014. You still need an unlocked PCM, and you need a dongle to connect with. I happen to have one. They have a USB dongle that it's a security dongle device, yada yada. You'd want to get theirs, even though I have one that might work with it. I haven't tried it, but you have costs there. So let's go back to BitBox, and this is the ECU reflash software. It says it works with software and the K-line data interfaces using the J2534 pass-through adapter or Ethernet, which is interesting. So there are some different requirements than what you're used to, but it's an interesting product because it's just like HP tuners, it's being updated. But if we look at the BitBox price, you're at $250 for it plus the bit edit, and again, this is your scanner software. You're looking at $200 for that, or €200 for that. So in the end, it's about $500 plus the unlocked PCM. So there's not a lot of difference in cost, but a lot of people are moving towards this particular type of product because there's no credits, there's no, a lot of that other stuff that HP Tuners charges you for. It's not here. It's not in these units, in these things. And again, they are open source. It will run on Windows or Linux, I believe. I'd have to double check to make sure both of those, but for the most part, let's just call it an open source software for that some really intelligent guys, obviously in the industry, have come up with over in Europe and or somewhere, I don't know, probably Latvia. That's a hot spot for this kind of stuff. But it is out there, and that's what I find very interesting, is that somebody out there is bringing out a product, and they're definitely interested in competing with what's available right now. Okay, so let's go to the elephant in the room, HP tuners. And of course, you create a log. I'm logged in right now. You have access to a forum, which is nice. You have access to help, which is nice with HP tuners. Those are kind of two biggies for me. Getting to the forum, however, the same jackasses are on that forum that are on most of them. And sometimes it can just get frustrating as hell. So, the current interface that's available for $399, I'm pretty sure, is the MPVI4, and that's this piece right here. And then the current software, which is free currently, is the VCM Suite. Okay, there's two different versions of VCM Suite. You have the stable version, and then you have the beta version. And most of us use the beta version because it's constantly being updated. So the things that we couldn't do in the stable version, we can often do in the beta version because they've listened to the people and they fix things, change things. MPVI4, this is a little interesting little product here. It's supposed to have wireless, but it doesn't have it. At the last I checked, which was 2 hours ago. There's also a battery in it, and there's no documentation anywhere as to what that battery is for, or if it when it's not connected to something, is that battery still active? And I'm kind of thinking that it's maintaining RAM, because it's got 32 gigs in it, which is huge. It can also outperform the MPVI3, which is what I use, and log data faster, supposedly. But it can't get you. It won't get you anything more if your car doesn't have access to the data you want. The MPVI4 is not somehow going to give it to you. Although there is a couple of quirks, but I haven't had one, and I don't have it in my hands to test it. And it basically, if you want to buy a new one, you're going to get an MPVI4. Nothing wrong with it. I'm not saying anything bad about it. I'm just saying there's a couple of things I'm a little bothered by because I can't find information on it. So now MPVI4, let's go over here, and it's $399.99. So yeah, $400. And since they don't make it pennies anymore, they're going to steal the penny from you. I'm just kidding. So universal credits. You can buy the device, but you can use it to download. It's actually not download, but you can log with it to some extent. Last I checked, you could. I don't know, I haven't tried the MPVI. I know with mine. But anyway, for a normal, say up to 2014, you need 2 credits for your engine and 2 credits for your transmission. 2015 and up, you need 4 credits for your engine and 4 credits for your transmission. So 2 and 2 is 4 on this one. That would cost you $200 in credits if you have up to a 2014. And then after that, it's $400 for credits, universal credits. If you wanted to use the neural network trainer, you buy tokens for it. And the tokens are, I think they're $24.99 each, and $25, $50 actually for the 4 you need. Because you're going to, the 2 universal credits. 2 tokens that you'll need to use the neural network trainer, and they only last for 30 days. After 30 days, you have to buy another set of tokens. If you want advanced features, so you know what the CAN address is on a particular item in the PCM that you want to modify that is not exposed. There's an option to do that, and that's another $169. So right now, if I don't have it, if I go into my account and look at my devices, so I have 8 credits. User-defined parameters, I would have to buy now. I used to have them for free. Now you have to purchase them, and they're $169.99. We didn't have to buy them before, but they suddenly said user-defined parameters we have to pay for now. It's a feature. So it starts adding up, and to me it feels like I'm getting nickel and dimed every time I turn around, but it's not really. It's just a feeling I have. And the other thing is that they are highly diversified now, and they cover motorsports. I mean, every type of ATV, things like that. There's all sorts of areas that they branched out into. And whenever they branch out, they seem to not neglect but not pay as much attention to what they've already developed and sold. And there's a couple of items in the beta version that I've complained about, and I've gotten nothing done. I got one response, and then after that they just blew me off. But they're real issues to me. And if they're issues to me, you would think that they'd want to correct them, but they don't. So their primary focus is in the automotive world, is their core ECU, which can do the same thing that actually does more. But it is another product that you can get. So it's very similar in function to the Holley Terminator, but it's a core ECU that you can use for doing retrofit swaps and things like that. That's a whole other thing, but it's still, the core ECU does have separate software and things like that you'd have to learn. But that's available out there. Same thing, you need a laptop. I don't know how people do it without laptops. I do it with a laptop and a desktop, okay, because I like to sit at my desk and analyze data, and I don't like looking at a little screen. In fact, right behind me, I have a portable stand that I can put my laptop in and roll it out to the garage and sit out there with a big screen, and I have a separate keyboard, a wireless keyboard and mouse, and so I can basically do the same thing I do on my desktop out in the garage when I choose to. So there's other investments. There's things you're going to find that you want along the way. VCM Suite software. Let's actually go back to that. They do have a tune repository. If you wanted to, go out and look at other people's tunes, their tune files. There's no log files in there. It's just a tune repository. But they stopped allowing people to upload tune files in 2018. The last one you can get, I think, is a 2017. You might get a 2018. I haven't looked for a long time. Last time I looked, 2017 was the newest I could find. And it's a very limited number. But sometimes you can do a comparison. Hey, did this guy have that? Did we have that back then? And do we have it now? Or is this a new feature of this PCM? It's a good way to kind of double check that. If you see something on a 2017 and you go to a 2018 and you've got different options, yeah. So this is the VCM suite. We'll take a look at that. And you go to the download page, of course. You know what the VCM suite is, but you have the beta version over here, excuse me, and then the stable version here. I use the beta version. You may choose to use the VCM suite stable version, and then you have VCM Live, which is used with the core ECU and a remote tuner. Okay, so drivers for MPVI, you may or may not need them, and then if you want to put the HP Tuners logo anywhere, you're gonna download their stuff. I have it on my page, so but you have to use their official documentation. But HP Tuners is kind of a game that most people gravitate to. As you can see, it's the same thing. You're going to need an unlocked PCM if it's 2015 or newer. Now, in all of these products, I don't care which one it is, if you have a 2018 plus PCM Challenger, you're going to need a security bypass of some type. There's a couple available. The one I use is the one from Z Automotive. By the time you get it shipped to you, it's almost the same exact cost as the one that is offered by HP Tuners. Let me see if I can just scroll up. I can do it by site. There it is. This is smart access cable. To install this, you either take out your center console to get to the secure gateway and plug this bypass in, or you tear your dash bezel out, pull your radio out, and go in behind that way. Some people said it's actually easier to pull the bezel off of your dash and go in behind the radio, but I don't know, because I don't do it that way. I use a product from Z Automotive. I'll let you go ahead and look that up yourself. It's a double security bypass, and it actually gets power from the trunk. It mounts right in the trunk. And then I use a 12-foot cable, a 12-foot extension cable, high quality, and I run that up underneath the back seat and into the passenger compartment, and the back seat, and then of course up to the front seat. I don't have any cables at all running across my lap, and that makes me real happy. Now, so we're all done with basically talking about what the main, there's probably a few other things out there. You can certainly scroll through and do discovery on your own about the HP Tuner products. Let's talk about, I guess, the elephant in the room. No, it's not an elephant. Anyway, the HP Tuners is a good product, but it's becoming far less and less of a race day product. And most of the guys that are doing race days stuff are not using stock PCMs. You remember Street Outlaws. Everybody had an HP Tuner sticker on their car. And then suddenly they started going away. Well, it's because the stock PCM didn't work. And apparently they weren't happy with the core ECUs either. They were going to other PCM products, and there's a bunch of them out there, and using those PCM product software to do their tuning with. And if you go out there today, you'll see people that are actually racing aren't using any of these products, and they're your weekend warriors and your guys that are running less than 1,000 horsepower can probably still get away with the HP tuners. But once you get past that, it's really a different ball game, and it's away from anything I teach, although I can do it and have done it. But it's a different, completely different type of tuning. If you hear people say, "Oh, you want to get one of these PCMs and get rid of it's probably not. And if you think you want to, make sure you do deep research. And I mean deep. Until one day the light bulb goes on and says either, yeah, I can do everything with HP tuners I need to do, or Diablo that I need to do, or Bitbox that I need to do, or Holly EFI, or, you know what, I got to go aftermarket PCM complete for my specific engine. I hesitate to mention any builders' names because they're building engines, but I'm pretty sure Steve Morris does not use HP tuners. So anyway, rather than get off on that tangent, let's switch back. So there you go. That's kind of what we have available out there. And I now you kind of got an idea that there are, more than just one option out there. I highly suggest that you go out there and look at these other options, and maybe one fits better for you. Maybe you say, "Hey, this is just too weird. I've been working and it's just not happening for me." Then maybe you got to say, "You know what? I'm going to cut my losses and let somebody else tune my car." And of course, you know how I am. I've already told you 100 times how I feel about remote tuning, but sometimes, that is an answer for you. And so, even though I say, don't do it, there are a couple of tuners out there and that will do remote tuning. Like I said, Jay Green is one. He'll do Diablo. Hemi Fever does Diablo. Flying Ryan Performance does HP tuners. Mario, what's his last? I know Mario, but I don't know. Can't remember his company name. But he's in Las Vegas. Owns a shop. MIT is the name of his shop. He will do remote tunes. And I understand Mario's got the patience of a god. Jay Green, I love the guy. He gets frustrated just like me. And he and I did great. We had a real good relationship when he did my tune several years ago. But I could tell that he had just about had it. And it wasn't me as a customer. Maybe it was, I don't know. But it was some of the people that he had to deal with. And I get it. I absolutely get it. So, if you're going to use a remote tuner, be a good person. If you're getting screwed by a remote tuner, all right, fine. You got screwed. You made a mistake. Move to somebody else. Pay the money. Get it done. If you're losing money, if you paid a guy a lot of money and you're not getting, and let me just put it this way. You get what you pay for. You get what you ask for. Make sure you ask for the right things. Because your tuner says, "Hey, you pay me because I did what you asked me to do." And there's a difference between doing what you ask a tuner to do and doing what you want a tuner to do. So make sure you ask them what you want. And that's where the communications always seem to break down. So keep that in mind if you're going to go with an outside tuner. Make sure you're well defined and make sure he has every single spec of information you have or can get for him regarding any options you've installed on your car. And I don't care what that option is. Give him everything. Because if something's not going right, he needs to know, oh, okay, wait a minute. What if, and then he can test, like for instance, suppose, and I mentioned this about a gentleman that I'm currently in contact with. We don't know if when the BTR cam that he got, he didn't know if it came from BTR or not. We don't know if everything was in the box and whether or not the lockout wedge that took 4 degrees out of the cam phaser was in the box. If it wasn't, maybe the guy, the mechanic doing the install, did install it. And if it's not there, yeah, his car's going to run like crap. And it's going to buck like crazy at low RPMs. Which is exactly what it's doing, by the way. But he swears up and down his guy did all the work properly. He doesn't know. He has no way of knowing. I don't care if he's got HP tuners or not, which he just purchased. He's not going to know. He's not going to be able to tell. It takes time to be able to look for things like that. So anyway, I digress. And it's story time again, right? Yeah. No, okay, I'll stop. So anyway, that's kind of it in a nutshell. You all take from this as whatever you want. Hopefully gives you a little insight. And we'll see you at the next video. We might have another. Actually, I have to load a tune in my car, but I got a road trip to do, so I'm going to do it after I get done with the road trip. So I'll be back. I don't know, sometime in the near future, with another video of the current tune, which basically we've been building all along. And I'll put that in the car and we'll see how it does. All right, you guys, like, subscribe, and share, just like the usual. Thank you again so much. You guys are really super. You can't believe how much I appreciate you. Take care. Have a good one. Bye.